but the Americans have killed 16 of my cousins. I hate them more. And it's, you know, this is the basic mathematics of what is happening on the ground in Afghanistan. And it's, you know, what is it all about? Dropping $1 million bombs on $10 huts. It was, it never really made any sense attacking Afghanistan in the way in which it was attacked. It was a knee-jerk reaction to the horrific events of 9/11. Somebody had to pay. 19 Arabs brought havoc to America on 9/11. Somebody had to pay, so, you know, Afghanistan, it's a target. And now there are more British troops in Afghanistan than there are in Iraq. And the troops in Iraq probably won't have time to wipe the dust off their boots from Basra because they'll be thrown into Afghanistan. We have got to stop treating troops, British, American, Canadian, as cannon fodder. And that is what they are being treated as at the moment, with absolute contempt by these politicians who are making these decisions to send them, to send many, as it turns out, to their death. It's outrageous.
So you say you should just get out, just pull out?
And return with aid, return with construction, return with help. There's a boast, oh, we've now got 3 million children back at school in Afghanistan. That never happened under the Taliban. Yeah, there are about 3 million children back at school. You know what? They've got no teachers. There's nobody there to educate them. They're at school, but there's nobody there with a whole you know, curriculum for them.
So what do they do?
Well, they've got local monitors or certainly not qualified teachers, just doing, you know, trying to keep them occupied during school hours. They're not getting any sort of formal education. It's a big con. Once again, we're being lied to. You know, the whole of Tony Blair's wife, Sherry Booth, and President Bush's wife in November 2001 gave simultaneous press conferences to convince the world our husbands are going into this war because they are going to liberate Afghan women. Looking back, I have never seen two women more ruthlessly exploited by their powerful husbands than these two women, because they stood there trying to give a fig leaf of decency to this war. And it's obscene to use say it's been done in the name of liberating women, because that is another big lie.
Well, there's been no improvement for Afghan women?
Well, in February 2002, I went to see Salma Seema, the first ever Afghan women's minister, and I'm really, you know, looking forward to meeting this woman. Landmark appointment. She hadn't even been given her own office. She hadn't even been given not even a little room in the government building, and she was eventually hounded out. It would be churlish of me to say no women are benefiting. That would be wrong of me to say that. But it's disproportionate to the amount of women who are suffering. The prison where I was held in Kabul, the last time I was there, was jammed full of young girls aged 12 to 16 whose only crime was that they'd run away from home because they didn't want to be sold off as child brides to men 3 times their age. And they had been locked up. You know, that is not liberation at all. In Herat, young women were being pulled off the street. The Vice and Virtue Squad of the Taliban had gone, that there's this new Chastity Squad, whatever that is, and they're pulling young girls off the street and having them physically examined in hospitals to see if they're still virgins. That is not the liberation of Afghan women. And as I say, the women that I've visited out into the south are now saying, well, at least with the Taliban we had security.